Good afternoon. Well, it's Thursday, May 18th, and this car insists on being on YouTube. So last night, my son called me. Car wouldn't start. The battery was drained. I went down there to give him a jump start. It was about at 9 volts. He had been complaining for about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, a month, that every once in a while it was kind of slow to start, you know. And so I'm figuring that it's the alternator. I put in my Amazon tester. I like this one, but I like this one because it's got the lights when it's red. That's kind of like danger, you know. Green is where you want to be, and it fluctuates usually between, depending what accessory you have on, the air conditioning. He was running this car with the air conditioning on. You know, I drove it around a couple of weeks ago, and it was fine. But once the air conditioning was turned on, and that accessory uses the most power because of the blower motor. That's what drains it. So he drained the battery driving it around, going to the bank, whatever. Yeah, and when I tested it last night out in the parking lot at his work, jump started it, got the thing running. It was showing, 13, maybe 13 volts, a little over 13 volts. And I turned on the AC, and all of a sudden it just started dropping. So I was going, well, is it battery or is it alternator? Batteries probably maybe 2.5, 3 years old. It's a Duralast. So I took it out last night, charged it right here, and had it on charge for about 4 hours, and disconnected the charger, and it was at about this morning it was at about 12.52. So it's holding a charge. If the battery was bad, it wouldn't hold that charge. Overnight it held. When I disconnected the charger last night, it was at about 12.52, and this morning it was at the same. And I installed it back in the car. Now it's at about 12.51. So I'm thinking it's pretty good. It still could have a problem, but I seriously doubt it. I think it's more the alternator. Alternator's got almost 150,000 miles on it. Could be the voltage regulator on the alternator, which is about $12. It has carbon brushes that wear down. Easy to replace. You don't have to take the alternator out, but we don't want to mess with it. So just got a replacement for a little over $100 on Amazon. It's a rebuilt, remanufactured. Most of all of them are. Unless you can find a original Bosch one, which is maybe $350, but So I'm going to jack it up, and I guess I've got to loosen the belt using that. I think it's a 13 millimeter. Right there. I loosen that up, and then there's a big 19 millimeter hiding. I think I got to take this off. I hate taking this off. I mean, it's not hard. I just hate doing it. Sometimes I think I've had to, on this car, I think I've had to remove this hose here or loosen it to get this thing to slide up and move out of the way. I don't know why, but so just got to loosen the belt up, and then There's some bolts. Yeah, the alternator is way down here below the air pump. Battery disconnected, because you could be dealing with hot wires when you disconnect it. And 13 millimeter. And I like looking at that mark, the pointer. It's right there. That's the way that pointer moves back and forth. You can look it up. There's a way of where it's supposed to be at a certain mark, but I just do it until it's tight, and that's the way it likes being. So now just loosen. Oh God, I just ran into the jack right in the crotch. Okay, so that's loose. Now you'll just leave that there, and then have to get to that devil bolt, which is, oh my God, I can feel it. It's directly right there. I'm going to see if I can do it without having to take this thing off. For some reason, this thing just drives me crazy taking it off. Yeah, this does have to, it does have to come off. So there's, let's see if I remember this. Do this. There's some clips, right? Okay. Gotta get to that clip right here. Oh man. Sometimes you gotta use a screwdriver. Help it along. Help it along. There, down on the ground on that one. And then another one right here. There. Now this thing is loose, but you have to get this thing. This is the part that drives me crazy, is this ring thing. Usually it comes off pretty easy, but then getting it back on, you got to crawl under there and you got to monkey with it. For those who've done this before, you know what I mean. Sometimes it comes off real easy and goes back on real easy, and then sometimes it just decides it just wants to give you hell. Let's see, it's got to clear this fan. This part down below, this circle, it hits the fan, so you got to get under there. And then this part wants to hit the water, or the water hose. And sometimes you can get this to move over, but then there's a transmission cooler line right here that you got to deal with. So yeah, I'm gonna crawl under there. Yeah, Mercedes runs forever, but you got to do all this, you know, maintenance. I guess, you know, any car. You imagine a 30-year-old Toyota. Don't want to lose that part. Okay, so yeah, it's this thing. See, it hits the fan. It's got a couple things that go into slots here. 1, 2. Then this, you've got to get it I mean, it's really close, you know. It's let's see. This thing has to spin off. You gotta take two hands and mess with it. So that ring that's right here is loose. You got to have it loose, and then that way this part can move up out of the way. The shroud, that's what it's called. Now you have to be able to pull this thing up, and then it has to clear the fan down there. So I got to get back down there and squeeze the shroud and get it to pass that fan. Okay, now I've got it squeezed past that fan. And then it should just pull straight up. This side is pretty clear, but it's always this one right here. I don't know if maybe I can, I'll see if I can get it out in this direction. If not, then I got to take this off. Okay, so I got getting it to clear. I did have to disconnect this. What I did, so I didn't lose a bunch of coolant, it works. I drained the coolant tank with a little rubber hose and I drained it. That way the level of the coolant isn't gonna overflow. It worked. So now I should be able to easily pull this bad boy out. Right, famous last word. I'm gonna have to go down here and bend the thing to clear the fan blades. It's always been like this. Some people just, boop, it just comes out. Mine, I got it out. I don't know why this one is so difficult. I had a 91 300E and it wasn't this difficult on it. I don't know, maybe the radiator's thicker or the fan setup. I don't know, it's all stock. Anyway, so I got that out. You can leave that there. I think, well, maybe I might as well just take it out anyways. The locking ring from hell. Yeah. Now there's a 19 millimeter, right? All right. I finally got it loose. And this is all I could get. Couldn't get a big wrench in there. The radiator's in the way, but I just, to break it loose, they're pretty tight. I just have one of these things. I started off with one of these things and then put a pipe on it to break it loose. Maybe if you have a deep, I thought I had a deep 19 socket, but then just pull it. And then, yeah, make it real loose. Yeah, just loosen that belt, take it off this side first, and then it'll allow you to get this out of here. Okay, now, let's see. There's two wires. I think it's an 8 and 15. All right, so got an 8 millimeter. $13 millimeter. It's just the boot that pulls off. Ouch, God. And it's out. Next day. Okay, here's still waiting for the alternator to arrive, but this is the old one. And this is your voltage regulator right here. It has these right here are what makes the contact, and they're kind of short, so it's got a let's see, it's a contact point right there, and that contacts right here, and they're both really dirty. And then these, it's supposed to go like this, and these brushes are supposed to go right in there. What's the generator? It spins around in there. Freaking so heavy. A lot of copper. Yeah, look at it. And not sure what this is right here. I'd like to know what that is. And there's the can you see that resistor? I think it's the resistor that goes bad too. Wow. Wish it was brighter. I can't even see it. It's got a number 58R, 5%. Interesting. But yeah, these are like about 12 bucks. So, and there's something else right in here. I forget what that part's called. But this good $12 part could make it work. But you don't know. Might be something else going on with it. So for me, I'm just buying a new one. Finally, I got it. 3:30, it arrived. The power of what? The holes are just those two big long bolts that go into the holes. And you can get one in, then you go to get the other one in, it doesn't line up. Okay, take that one out, put one at the bottom, then try to get one at the top, it doesn't line up. Either way, they just millimeter, you know. Yeah. This is not the same. Okay, so here's the story now. I found out that this, through Ben's World, asking around, somebody said maybe that alternator didn't fit because somebody changed the bracket that holds it. So I look at the part number and it starts with a M104. It should be an M103. So I don't know, you know, trying to go back 30 years in history. Did at some time a previous owner have a bad alternator and the mechanic, I don't know. Why would they even go out and do that, you know? Unless they just had a spare car part or parts car, and hey, I'll just take it off and charge her a bunch of money. So I don't know. Or the factory used this. Now this part number, the M104 part number, this one fits many different models, including the R129. Totally weird, huh? Even some 190s. So I'm thinking, you know, this is a 92, the VIN shows 91. It was built in October of 1991. I'm thinking that it's the correct one for this car, and it's original and it's from factory. Because the M104 is very similar, the block is very similar. You know, I think that the head might have changed a little bit. Yeah, so either I buy the correct bracket for it, and the new alternator fits it, but then maybe the air pump won't fit it. Maybe the belt will change. Yeah, so I'd rather just get an alternator that fits it, you know. And then this part number also, I did find on a site in Europe that the part number fits M103 and M104 engines. So yeah, it's like going back 30 years in time and trying to be a detective. It's like, okay, well, at least I managed to get the pulley off with a strap wrench and air impact. Thank God it took it off. Man, it was like, you got to have something like that. And the thing is some of those don't come with a pulley, you know. So you got to be able to take that pulley off. So I ordered another alternator, and hopefully it should be here tomorrow. I did take the bracket off of the engine. This supports the alternator and the air pump, so it has to handle quite a heavy load. And to remove it, I just loosened the air pump and moved it back. And then you've got bolts. I think they're all 13 millimeter. And then there's 6 millimeter Allen. And there's one here and one here on the front of the engine. This is the front of the engine. Yeah, this thing was disgustingly dirty. So I cleaned that. This is the part number on it. Now you see it says Mercedes-Benz 104. So that's for an M104. This is an M103. I don't know if this is a date. It says 2001. It does say 91. So on Band's World, on Zoom, on Band's World, I put a post up on engine serial numbers. I was like trying to figure something out. You know, I had some people telling me, "Oh, that's the wrong bracket for the engine." And I go, And they go, "That's why the first alternator didn't fit." They go, Then I have other people telling me that is the correct number for the bracket for your engine. Okay. Then I have people saying, well, maybe in the early 2000s, they put a new alternator in and had to upgrade the bracket. Maybe the original one wasn't available anymore. I have gone across this internets and different sites, and some in Europe, saying that this fits a M104 and M103. I don't know. I don't feel I can buy another bracket, but like I said before, I'd be afraid to do that because then maybe the air pump won't line up. You know, belt might get different. Who knows? So I'm sticking with this one since it's been on there for 12 years since we got it, and it runs fine and everything. It's just getting the alternator to fit in. Yeah, these are all I cleaned all the bolts. These are all the bolts and nuts to get that bracket off, except for those little tiny ones. Those are for the pulley for the fan. I did get my steam cleaner out, and I cleaned the fan up, so it looks a little bit cleaner. This is a new fan clutch, by the way. Yeah. So now today, while I'm waiting, final step is I like to put everything back together clean. You can see how dirty it is. I sprayed some foam cleaner, that's all I have. This is old remnants from the upper timing cover that likes to leak in these things. So far mine doesn't seem to be leaking. I don't think it is. But they like to leak. They have, I don't know. It's just this little upper cover and whatever. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna clean this. A little bit cleaner. All right, finally got another one from RockAuto. We'll see if this one fits. Aha. Yeah, that one will fit. Because the other one, the holes were too close together. So, time for reassembly. You always want to make sure the alignment looks okay on the pulleys. See the pulley down here is the alternator. And I can see it. I always clean these connectors off. I already did with some sandpaper. Make them nice and shiny. Gotta get the pulley on first. Okay, now I guess I should route the belt. Yeah. Here's the belt routing for 300E. All right. Just check the routing on that picture. Make sure everything is lined up all the way around. Start pulling it over here. And then it's on, and now all we gotta do is tighten it. And just start tightening it. Not too tight. Look at that mark down there. Then pull on the belt. Yeah. Tighten it a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to put the fan on, and then I guess I can start it up and then retighten that belt before we put all the shrouds back on. It's always a good idea to put a piece of cardboard in front of this radiator so you don't punch holes in it, but I've done it so many times. I know how to do it without punching holes in it. Oh, wait a minute. I already got... Let's see, make sure you got some Loctite blue on this. Oh. Come on, baby. Okay. And just start kind of hand tightening it if you can. It's pretty hard, there's no room. So that's when I get my, let's see, it's the big sucker. What is that? I think it's an 8. Yeah, I think it's an 8. Anyways, I put it on there and just turn it. Make sure to lock this thing into that mystery slot down there. 2 lines. That keeps the pulley from turning, so you can fully lock it, tighten it, and then you got to be able to kind of get it out. It'll come out. What an idiot. Yeah, I forgot to hook that hose back up. A little bit of coolant. Filled up the tank a little bit. God, I'm telling you, I'm tired. Let me try it again. Okay. Can you hear the air pump? Everything looks good and straight. Let it warm up a little bit. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, let's check voltage. 14.1. That's pretty good. Yeah, I just bought this little one on Amazon. I was using this one for this car. I like this one because it's got the lights and stuff, but it kind of hangs up. This way you could drive around and check your voltages and know when something's going bad, especially like during the summer when you got your AC on and you want to see how much you're drawing. I mean, these are pretty good. There's a little bit of a voltage drop from the battery through the wiring to this thing right here. A true voltage reading would be off the battery, but this is pretty good. Let's see. I got it warmed up a little bit. Let's try, what is it, the AC. .9. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's try turning the lights on. I got fog lights and headlights on, 13.7. Good. Lights off. 13.9. That's great. It knows that it has to. 14.2. Yeah. So what were we before? I forget on the. When I first tried it, when it was doing the problem down in the parking lot, it was like about 13 point. I forget. Maybe 13.2. Okay, I think we solved the problem. So now it's just a matter of let's see what these fog lights. Wow, these freaking LEDs are freaking bright. Those are some bright LEDs. Okay, thing looks good. Warmed up, give it a couple revs, stretch that belt, and then we'll retry it. Lights off. Oh, yeah. Runs really good. Yeah, I'll put a link to this little, see how small it is compared to this one? I have this one in the SL because I got the ashtray right here with the cigarette thing in it. It's handy. But these were like $5. Get a good connection. Yeah, 14.3. All right. All right, shut it off. Sweet. Don't forget to tighten that 19. Belt's good, but I have to twist like that. It's good. Everything's tight. I guess I can put the devil shroud back on. Okay. 13.8 test drive time. Let's see what I got. There. Yeah, this thing is, I don't know. I think I got everything back together. Let's close this door. There's a stray cat that likes to sneak in there. Okay. Oh boy, I tell you, 13.4. That's almost at 14, so. Yeah, not bad. Not bad for an old 30-year-old car.
so eine Flecke sein. Oh, damn, push it in, maybe, huh? So 13.8. Things are kind of cool because it can tell what, you know, if there's a part of the car that's draining, you know, it'll help you diagnose. At least it helped me when I had a battery drain that I couldn't figure out. And it turned out to be bad diode in the alternator that was intermittent. I mean, it was just really weird. Took me a couple of years. That, along with the ignition switch, was also draining the battery. It was like a double whammy. So I think we're good here, and we can safely drive this for another 100,000 miles, hopefully. Anyways, end the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.